And there you have it. The markets are officially closed on this Friday, May 9th. Welcome, investors and traders. I'm AJ Monte, and this is a daily candle chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, ticker symbol DIA. As I zoom in here, you can see that yesterday we filled the gap that I had highlighted a couple of weeks ago. And if you're familiar with my gap fill trading rules, 80% of the time gaps do fill. But here's what happens. 80% of the time after those gaps fill, we tend to reverse and go the other way. So I do think the markets are still leaning to the downside. You could see what happened here. There was an open gap. What happened? It filled, took a few days, but then ultimately reversed. And that's normally what you see in gaps, because a lot of traders use those gaps to set their target prices, and once the gaps fill, they tend to close those positions, take their profits, and run. So in other words, if you bought the stock on this low down here and you had a goal to get out of the stock once the gap fills, well, what's going to happen? Gets up to the gap fill point, you sell it, the volume starts to go up because there's more selling pressure coming into the market at that particular point here on this down leg, the small couple of days of downward activity. And that's how traders use gaps. Now, notice what we have down here. We have an open gap below the market. So short traders will take a short position at a high, and they'll cover or buy back their shorts when it gets back to that gap fill. And then what happens? We tend to get bounces. So once we get down to fill that gap, I think we'll see a little bit of a bounce. And you could also see a possible A, B, C, D pattern on the way down, where this would be ultimately an A pivot up would be a B, a pivot down from C usually leads to a lower D. And that's why I still have this downside target down below for DIA. What I'll do is I'll highlight that with this dotted line just like that, so we have that as a reference. Okay, so that's DIA. Looking at IWM, something very interesting has happened here. We have a small body candle. Now take out your trading checklist here. Small body candle is known as a spinning top. Spinning tops are signs of indecision. They're also related to dojis, which are also signs of indecision. But if you, again, follow along with my trading checklist, you'll know that we look at the candle, that spinning top being bearish, and we look at the volume. The volume analysis is very important because that's the lowest volume day we've had in a while. And when you see the volume dropping on the way up, that tells us that the buyers are losing momentum. Now, for the brand new folks that are following us here on our StickyTrades YouTube channel, understand that I teach through repetition. So it's not going to be the last time you hear me talk about volume. Remember the rule. Volume dropping on the way up is bearish. Volume increasing on the way up is bullish. And on the way down, take some notes here now. On the way down, if you see the volume dropping, that's bullish. But if you see the volume increasing on the way down, like you saw back here, that tends to be bearish because the sellers are more excited at that point, and they're giving you that leading indicator known as volume. Most people think that's a lagging indicator. It's not. It's a leading indicator. And so I still have this downside target. It might seem extreme, but take a look at the weekly chart on IWM, and you're going to see something a little different here. And what do we have? We have a roll reversal right here. You see this? This whole area right here, here and here is support that was broken, and this whole area now becomes a resistance point. And the weekly chart, again, we're closing this volume bar at the end of the week. Look at the volume dropping on the weekly candles. See, that's again supporting and confirming the idea that the buyers are losing momentum. In addition to that, this moving average is also going to act as resistance. So you got a double whammy of resistance. And when you think that's something, take a look at the moving averages here for IWM. And when you look at the 50, the 200, the 100, and how they all work together, you're looking at the 200 period moving average is still way up here. The 100-day moving average is this red line. That too is going to act as resistance, and that corresponds to that particular high. So for the bulls out there, I'm not telling you not to buy. I'm just telling you that if you do buy, it would be a good idea to be cautious. Take your profits if you're a trader, if the prices start to go up, and make sure you're not turning winners into losers. And I talk about that all the time with our members. So for IWM, downside target is still in place way down here. I'll put another dotted line for you so you can get a reference on that. And that downside target is 175.81. So QQQ, it's pretty much going to be the same story. This is the tech sector hitting resistance again. This red line is a role reversal. That support that was broken here turned to resistance here. It held. I think the resistance is going to hold once again. So that downside target on QQQ, again, still in place down here. That downside target is 417.67. And again, I'll draw that dotted line so we get a good eyeball on that. I'll adjust the price here to match my diagonal target line. By the way, when you look at these charts, you'll see these diagonal lines. You see the downside are in red. Downside targets are in red. Sometimes you'll see some upside targets here, like we had a two-parter here in green. And notice that all of these targets have hit in the past, all of them. And you have a very, very high percentage of accuracy with the hit rate. And I'll get to that in a moment when we talk about the rapid fire Wednesday webinars that I do. Okay, so stand by. We got SPY is the S&P 500 ETF, same story. We got the big drop in volume. You see that? And we have the oscillators still going down. The stochastic is still going down. CCI is pivoting lower. Again, I have a more extreme downside target on SPY at 497.97. And again, if we look at the moving averages and how they're crossing over here, the gray line or the charcoal, almost black line here, is the 200-day moving average for the S&P. Notice the red line, which is the 100, is about to cross the 200. Now this 50-period moving average crossing below the 200 is called the death cross. I don't know if they have a name for the 100-day crossing the 200, but we can call it mountain, maybe the iron cross. I don't know. Come up with something and we'll see if we can brand that or claim that. Anyway, we have the downside target on SPY still way down below here. Let me go back to the daily chart and I'll show you what that looks like on my target lines. All right, so the diagonal line showing, this was a two-parter, by the way. We had an upside target that completely got blown out of the water, but the downside target right there is 497.97. So I'm going to mark that again with a dotted line so that you could get a good eyeball on that next week. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the VIX. The volatility index has already filled this downside open gap, and the oscillators are extremely oversold down here. Now, you see this green dotted line. That represents the open gap above the market on the VIX. Now, remember, for the most part, the VIX is inversely related to the S&P. I'm giving you a guarantee that that gap will fill at 36.85. The big question mark is when. Well, we never know when. We just know that gaps above the market on the VIX tend to fill more quickly than the ones on the downside. And the reason for that is that the volatility index is also known as the fear index, right? So it gauges the fear in the market. And so if you're measuring fear and greed, which are the forces behind the market, you'll know that fear is a more powerful emotion in the market. Therefore, when prices start to drop on the S&P, what's happening to the fear or the volatility index? It starts to go up, and it goes up very quickly because people tend to panic sell without even thinking. Sometimes they're just selling out of emotion, and that's just the way it goes. Now, earlier I mentioned the rapid fire stock analysis. I'm going to show you something. This is a milestone for us. For the first time since I've been offering this service, we hit 100% of the targets that was set on March 26th. Now keep in mind, our percentage or hit rate is 82.2%. That's documented and verified by a third party. And what we have here is 100%, meaning all 50 out of 50 targets that were set on March 26th have hit. Now, also understand that 82.2% hit rate is over a 2-month period. So 82.2% of the targets do get hit over a 2-month period. Why am I mentioning the time frame? Because that's very important for swing traders. So I cater mainly to swing traders that are looking to get in and out of stocks in a shorter period of time. Not day traders, but swing traders. That's usually 3 weeks to 3 months. Investors are usually buy and hold, although there are many investors that follow my reports. I tend to attract more of the swing traders. So if you're interested in learning how I do this, you could sign up for our free 15-day membership. We have no strings attached, none whatsoever. You don't need a credit card. You don't need anything except your interest. Come on over. We'll set you up with 2 weeks. You don't even have to cancel it, right? You know that game that a lot of these companies play, they offer you 15 days, but you have to cancel or else you get billed. No, that we don't do that. So if it expires and expires, it's totally up to you if you want to come back. No pressure sales, none of that. We want to prove to the world that what we do here is that accurate. And there's no one in the world that has that kind of percentage of hit rate. And we want to show you how to do it for your own trading. Now, I'm just going to mention just a little bit about what is happening this week. Some of you may have caught the article that I wrote for Zero Hedge. This came out yesterday. And I mentioned how Donald Trump put out a tweet that basically, I don't understand the logic behind this, but he basically called Fed Reserve Chairman Powell a fool. Now, I don't know how this works with building relationships and building bridges, but if I were Jerome Powell, I certainly would not be happy with the President of the United States calling me a fool in front of the whole world. So I don't believe this is going to make things better between Donald Trump and Jerome Powell. In fact, I think it could do the opposite. I think it's going to create more friction. And this is not going to make the Trump fans all that happy when I say this, but I think that Trump is setting up Powell to be able to take the fall should the market collapse. And I do think the markets are going to drop. So if Trump is dictating to Powell, hey, you got to lower rates, and Powell doesn't do that, and then the markets drop, well, he's going to point his finger and say, yeah, it's Jerome Powell's fault. So I don't know the logic other than that being some sort of a strategy to back him up or hedge himself against the falling market. So if you want to read this entire article, you can. I'll put the link in the description box below. And what I'm going to do is on Monday come out with another article. Just go to zerohedge.com. A lot of times they're putting my articles on the front page, but if you can't find it on the front page, just click on the contributor tab and you'll see all my articles there. Now I want to show you the trade of the week. We had a position on in Eli Lilly that we put on April 30th. Now I'm going to show you this. Let me show you the chart first, okay? Eli Lilly is a pharmaceutical company, ticker symbol LLY. And on this day right there, you see that, the 30th, we put on a put spread where we bought the Leap 900 puts and we sold the 800 puts way down here. That's a put spread. It's a diagonal candle put spread, one of my favorite strategies. And again, if you want to learn more about that, just come on over to StickyTrades on the membership, and you can participate on the Monday night webinars where I talk a lot about spread trading. Well, the very next day, the stock dropped $100. Look at that. And so what we did this week is, if you look down below, you see how the CCI is starting to pivot up. Now, a diagonal candle put spread is considered to be a bearish position or a negative delta position. And when I saw the CCI starting to move up, I wanted to lessen the delta or add more positive delta. That's one and the same. To add positive delta, you lessen the negative delta side of the spread. I know that might sound confusing to some, but we have a great time trading spreads. And so what we did yesterday, because of that CCI, we were able to pull in $32 a $32 credit here by rolling or taking a profit on the 900 puts, and I rolled into a cheaper option. So we still have a diagonal calendar spread where we're long the June 2027 850 puts, but we're short the 800 puts. Now, next week, we're going to be rolling this one. We took this as a credit to more or less turn it into like a butterfly. It's not a perfect butterfly, but it's very similar to a butterfly. And next week, we're going to roll that one out and get out of the way of the market because Eli Lilly dropped a little bit more than I wanted it to, but we could still roll that down, take in some more credits, and continue to pay down our cost basis. Now, you have to understand something. Just in a couple of weeks, we lowered this cost basis from 152.50 down to 101.15. My goal is to take in enough credits on a spread like this to ultimately pay down the cost basis of this entire position to zero. And I have a lot of time left in that spread. June of 2027, we have more than 2 years before that expires, and we'll be taking in credits each and every month. So once we get that down to zero, we will now have a zero risk, absolutely no risk position, still leaving us with the opportunity of taking credits each and every month, risk free. That's how we trade over here at StickyTrades. So make sure you come on by, stay connected. This is a free YouTube channel, but we offer so much more through our company services, and I hope you come on over to join us. I'd love to know where you're calling in from or watching from. Put the state, put the country. We have people watching us from Japan, Australia, out in the UK, California, of course, up in Canada. I'd love to know where everyone's calling in from. Shout out. Let's get to know you. Until then, have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you on the next video. So long.
In a world of endless data, where every second counts, introducing Nod Live, your professional compass in the chaos of the stock market. Nod Live cuts through the noise. Stay ahead with Nod Live.